Good morning. Overcast and 69 as we begin Election Day, a day that we've talked about for the last 4 years.
Could be the beginning of your life right now. Today.
Polls are opening up right now. The gates are unfolding as they will head to 7 p.m. tonight. In with us this morning, Senator Jeff Tate. Jeff, how in the world are you doing?
Man, doing great. How y'all doing this morning?
How late are you staying up for this?
Well, I'll be in the courthouse till at least 7 p.m., probably 8 p.m., helping make sure with any phone calls or anything like that we have in Lauderdale County to make sure the election goes smooth. And then after that, I hope it's not too late.
That was my next question of, could it be that we actually know tonight, or do you have doubt in that?
It's a shame. You know, we have somewhere between 75 to 81 million people that have already voted, which is going to be about half.
Right.
And we're still projecting the results to not be in until the next few days. That's pretty bad.
With the technology that our nation has, one would think that it would be an easy process to where all of this tabulation goes to one place. It's secure and quick. But
well, they pull your bingo balls at 10 o'clock, and next thing you know, at 10:05, they say you've got a $1 million winner at this state, this city, at this store, and they've already got video footage of him buying a ticket. But yet we can't come up with a way of counting votes that are electronically done. Yes, here in Mississippi. Kudos to you, sir, for making sure that we've got paper ballots that you fill out that are scanned and kept for a count if needed. But there is a solid record of every vote that came in. Thank you for doing that.
Yes.
But we can, that's electronic.
Well, my daughter, we were at the tennis courts last night. My daughter had a tennis match, and I was talking to some of the other parents. I said, y'all watch. You've got Mississippi, Alabama, New Hampshire. Those are the three that do not have early voting. But watch our results come in. We're going to beat everybody by a mile, and that's a shame. Now, what we have in Mississippi is paper ballots, but we also have machines that are not hooked up to the internet. And that's what you have. You have these machines that send it. They don't use Starlink. They're going to use something else where they send it up to Mars, then it goes over to Jupiter, then it goes to D.C., and then to the New York Times, and then
there's
back
other
to the
voters
courthouse.
in those places too, right?
So, you know, they look for things in different closets and things like that. But now in Mississippi, you know, our polls will close at 7. Come 8 o'clock, we'll start getting results in. By 9:30, we'll have basically everything in.
Let's talk a minute about what's on the ballot for Mississippians. Yeah. Of course, we know Supreme Court.
Yeah, so Supreme Court's going to be the big one, and that's the one I really have been pushing. We have a 5-person race in that. It's a nonpartisan race, which means nobody has an R or D by their name, which means voters have to, you know, get a little informed. They're going to have to do some digging to find out exactly where each candidate stands. Of course, I'm all in for Jennifer Branning. She's senator up in Neshoba County. She's done a heck of a job representing Mississippi and her district. True conservative. And so she spent her time here. You interviewed her yesterday, Scotty Ray.
Downtown.
She was at Piggly Wiggly. She was at downtown. I mean, that's something that a candidate running on that big of a race is choosing Meridian as election eve as the place to campaign. I respect that. I appreciate that.
As we look at this, she's facing 4 other candidates there. Now, explain this as we look at this. Is a sample ballot of Mississippi today in Lauderdale County. Who are all these people that are running for president? Had you? I know that you're aware of it, but. Yeah. They couldn't think that they stand a chance.
Well, here's the thing. This happens every 4 years that we'll have about this many people running. What's a little bit different is the Secretary of State this go around, the wording that they chose, it's a little bit wordier than usual. Usually it's less words and just the names.
Yeah.
Typically, we have the Republican and Democrat at the top of the ticket in alphabetical order than everybody else. We have a state law that says if any party ever gets 12% or more in a governor and presidential race, then the state will put on that primary, basically Republican and Democrats each year. And so those are the ones that typically go to the top. So ballot looks a little bit different because it's a little bit worded a little bit more, but that's
that. Okay. As we look here for U.S. House of Representatives, third congressional district,
Unopposed.
Michael Guest unopposed.
Yes, sir.
He should win that.
He should.
We have the Senate, Ty Pickens up against Roger Whittaker.
Wicker.
I said that wrong, didn't I?
If y'all don't think I'll vote Democrat, y'all watch.
Oh, no.
As we look here nonpartisan, as we get down here, Jack Wilson running for Court of Appeals.
That's right. And so if you go south of here, I believe starting in either Clark or Wayne County, I think Wayne County, they got a heck of a race down there for Court of Appeals. It's a three-way race. No one in Lauderdale County has a vote in that. Like I said, that's about Wayne County going south.
Now, we also have another page to this. Let me zoom in on this as we look at this. Let's pull this up and look at this. This is also, all of these are unopposed.
That's right. So you have countywide Whitney Hodges for tax assessor, election commissioner District 1, which mirrors the supervisor district. Same thing with District 3 with Chuck Over being Awana Simmons, and then Russell Keene, District 5. Those are on staggered 4-year terms. And then for school board, 6-year staggered terms, you have Josh Thompson, Brad Piggott, not sure exactly how to pronounce that one, but that's District 3. That's not Supervisor District 3. It looks very similar to it. It's mainly West Lauderdale. And District 4 looks a lot like the Clarkdale School District.
Now, as we get into other counties of the Clark Newton and as we get into Neshoba County, basically the same type ballot. There may be someone somewhere that has a little bit different there for a county seat, but
that's right.
Overall, that's the overview for today.
Yeah.
Woo, boy.
It's not going to take long to vote. Now, I kind of hope that there's a line that you got to wait on. That means people's doing their civic duty. But the ballot's not going to take that long for you to go through. But read the question. Do you remember in school where the teacher always said, read the question before you answer the question? Read who you voting for, what office, and then write the choice that you think.
I expect there to be lines. I know at 7 a.m. 4 years ago where I go vote, which is the Clarkdale Fire Station, it was lined up in that parking lot, and that's a big parking lot there.
There were some pictures already where people were lining up.
Yeah, I hope they send in those pictures. So what's great about the paper ballots is whenever you get your paper ballot, you can sit down and take your time filling it out. It doesn't matter how long you take to fill out your ballot. Everybody else can flow through. With the touchscreen machines, you had to wait on somebody that was at the machine.
Exactly.
And we actually, one year, and you were talking about this yesterday, Odie, about how at 7 p.m., that's when you can stop getting in line at the Mississippi branch of Mississippi State, the Meridian branch. We went about 9 o'clock voting. People were in line at 7. And that was in 2011 when we had the 3 initiatives at the end of the ballot. It was a long ballot as is, and then we had 3 initiatives for personhood, eminent domain, and voter ID. And so it took a while to vote through that. With paper ballots, you're not waiting on someone at the machine because you have the privacy of going to your own booth and filling out your ballot, taking your time as long as you want.
Getting word that Fellowship Baptist Church lines are huge.
That's great. Center Hill.
Good indication. Let me ask this. Last minute, a guy that said he would not endorse anyone was real touchy about it. Wouldn't interview the guy for the longest. He has a huge, big following nationwide.
I know who you're going with.
At the last hour yesterday, and is it too late at the last hour to endorse anyone? Does it have Joe Rogan, who said he would not endorses Trump late yesterday? What is behind that in your mind?
So Joe Rogan, about a year ago, said he would never allow his show, that platform, to be for Trump at all.
Correct. I remember hearing it.
And he had him on. I don't know if y'all have listened to it. It's right at 3 hours long. It's a great listen. Kamala, she said, I'll do it, but you got to come to me. It's going to be limited to 1 hour, and we get to decide which topics we do and do not talk about. Well, that's not Joe Rogan. That's not him. That's not Spotify. And that's what he does. He is the one person that cannot get canceled. And I was, again, at the tennis courts last night. The new rebel is big, the young rebel, the bro vote is what they're starting to say. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that, but that's what they're calling it, is for Trump now. I mean, it's cool to be with Trump now. And I think 4 years ago, it was cool to be with Trump, but you were kind of ashamed of it. 8 years ago, you just didn't know how Trump was going to be. And so I really do think you're seeing a real culture shift to the Republican Party. And you take things like Saturday Night Live. I tried to watch about 30 seconds of what they had. It was junk. I mean, they're not fun.
Well, they got in trouble with the FCC
They
over
did.
that, of giving more time to her.
And Trump got the final laugh because he was able to get a free ad on Sunday Night Football on NBC, which had way more viewers.
Yes, it did.
I didn't even realize. So they made good on what they had done wrong.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Do you think, anyway, the Joe Rogan endorsement is getting down to the wire and he felt as though it could go Trump and he didn't want to be on the wrong side of the fence? Or did it just not play? Could he have just stepped out of it and not endorsed anyone? Does he gain anything by endorsing him at the last minute?
He doesn't gain anything, but he's being himself. He's being real. I mean, he said in that podcast that if it wasn't for Dana White, he probably wouldn't have had Trump on. And I think he sees these Democrats as being the people that are really trying to censor everybody.
Everything saying, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, I don't want to just say certain people. It's anybody that goes against their narratives they want to censor. And Joe Rogan, I mean, he's on the hill, shouting it out right now. I mean, he's the top podcaster in the nation. And
oh, yeah, he
is
has got
definitely.
it going. We'll be right back. We got more coming up on this election day. It is time to rise and shine, do your patriotic duty. Get that American flag out and head down to your local polling station and cast your vote. We'll be right back.
Hi, folks. Paul Brown with Dixie Buildings. We're here to take care of all your building needs for your personal and your business needs. That includes portable buildings, carports, sheds. Don't forget your hunting camps are coming in. You can start out with our 8x10s. If we cannot haul it, we can build it for you on site. We have 2 locations, one on Highway 19 South and our home office just around the corner on Long Creek Road. Just give us a call at 601-483-4943.
Rockhouse Gun and Pawn, located at 5430 Highway 19 North, is ready for spring. From weed eaters to push and riding lawnmowers, and one of the largest selections you'll find in chainsaws, along with power tools and generators for backup power. Maybe you're in the market for a TV or maybe a guitar. And not to mention a large selection of diamond rings and Louis Vuitton purses. The Rockhouse Gun and Pawn even has a private lobby for your pawns for confidentiality. Visit them today, Highway 19 North, Rockhouse Gun and Pawn. The tractors are rolling at Freeman Tractor on Highway 494. Drop in and see Keith, Cornbread, or Buttermilk. They've got a tractor that fits the need that you have. Whether it's a 26 horsepower, a 40, or bigger. Plus, they offer 0% financing for up to 96 months. Whether it's a part, a new tractor, 0% financing, or just simply a laugh. 601-626-8759, Highway 494 in Collinsville. That's Freeman Tractor. Welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, along with Odie. And where are they saying that we got
Collinsville Church is about full. So, yeah, if you've got pictures, send them in. We'll look at what we've got, or if you want to just send us a message that says, "Hey, I'm voting here. It's full." My daughter's working at the polls for the first time today.
That's
I
great.
mean, hey, that's awesome.
So, like them or not, I give credit where credit's due. Tate Reeves had a great line. He said, Mississippians do vote early. We believe in voting early. It's called 7 a.m. And so we're seeing that in Collinsville and Center Hill.
Early to bed, early to rise.
Oh man!
Now, as we go, I'm going to pull up Daily Mail. I want to show this nationwide map and let you help decipher this with us as we pull this up. All right, here's the right button as we pull. Again, this is Daily Mail. The purple is what is listed as a swing state. Let's start over here in Nevada. What are you feeling in Nevada? What is the feel there?
So, Real Clear Politics, which is basically a collection of polls from late September through early November, have got Nevada +1 for Trump. If you look at the way that it's trending, I believe Nevada's going to go that way. Now, what'll be interesting is, let's see what the candidates are actually doing. And so yesterday, Harris had 4 stops. All were in Pennsylvania. Trump had 4 as well. 1 was North Carolina, 2 was Pennsylvania, and 1 was at Michigan. And now may not be the time to do it, but we do need to pull up that radar eventually to show what the rain's going to do in Michigan, in that swing state, because if you see there Detroit, it's going to be clear. It looks all election day. I don't like that. I don't like that a lot of the rural area is going to have rain, but that's...
Which is always, and what Jeff is getting to is that's a deterrent for people to get out and vote, because you just don't want to get wet.
Right. I mean, I hate it, but that's part of it. But if it was in Detroit, that'd be better because I think Democrats are less likely to be motivated. They're just not motivated with Harris. Your Trump voters are going to get out, but anything we need everything on our side for this. And right now, Michigan is razor thin 0.06 in favor of Harris right now.
Let me ask this, because a poll came out. Now, before we went on, I asked this, and I don't understand it. Iowa, who has been Republican for year after year after year, a poll came out this week and said that it was going to go Harris. Is that still true, or is it switched back?
I'm not going to pronounce his name right, but Ann Selzer, I believe, was the one that came out with that poll, respected pollster, but everybody else said, you got this wrong. I think they had it as +3 for Harris.
Okay.
And so I think that was just, look, these polls and people will, this media, mainstream media will do whatever they've got to do to try to deter Trump voters. I mean, we saw it especially 8 years ago, but that's still at the same time what we're talking about. Yeah. So, but I think she got it wrong.
And I don't know if I'm going to put you on the spot here. I don't know if you've had a chance to do this arithmetic yet. Taking the swing states out,
okay,
if you were to add up what the electoral votes are at this point without the swing states, how does each candidate stack? Do we have those numbers?
So, well, that's if we give New Mexico to Harris, if we give Virginia to Harris, and we give Minnesota to Harris, which is the way that your map had it. And right now, Virginia, I thought he had a shot at Virginia, but it's trending towards Harris. New Mexico, Trump's spending time there, so that tells me he thinks he has a shot. And in Minnesota, he is actually gaining ground over there. But let's say all those go for Harris. Harris is up by a few, okay? But still, you have to get to 270. It doesn't matter how much you're up. So then, if you go by what the polling has, which has Nevada +1 for Trump, Arizona +2.6 for Trump, Wisconsin 0.3 for Trump, Michigan 0.6 for Harris, Pennsylvania 0.3 for Trump. I mean, razor thin. You've got North Carolina 1.5 for Trump and Georgia 2.3 for Trump. Then Trump would take it 287 to 251. That's what that arithmetic would go by.
Let me ask this: Pennsylvania. Will Pennsylvania, if we see that he loses Pennsylvania, is it all over but the crying at that point?
It's not all over. He still has a chance. Worst case scenario, the worst case scenario is if Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin all go blue. Okay, and that would happen earlier in the night.
Right.
Okay. That's bad. What then will have to happen, Trump still has a shot, but what he's got to do is he's got to flip a state. He's got to flip a state, one state, or he could flip Omaha. So you have Nebraska and Maine, their state legislatures back in the day decided, hey, we're going to do things different. We're not going to do a winner-take-all. And if he could flip, even in Omaha, which I don't see him doing, but if he could flip any state, New Mexico being one of them, then he has a shot at it. And if we have, a tie of 269, it goes to the House, which, controlled by Republicans, we will decide who our president is. And that's how close it is, folks.
It is really razor thin.
You got to have it's a Republican House. Doesn't mean every one of those R's are going to stick together. You want to say they would, but you can't ever tell.
Their election's 2 years away, and they better get in line. I can tell you that.
I'm with you on that. We're getting reports of Sukalina there at Macedonia Baptist Church. Has got a lot of people showing up. No lines in Meridian as of right now.
Let's talk about this, because all of this plays into this. When it comes to control of the House and the Senate, how are we? What is up for election in some of these states that I'm not aware of that could lean one of these either way? Do we have any elections?
Let me dig into my notes on that one.
Okay,
and we'll come back. I've got all that. I'm all geared into the presidential right now. I have those notes as well.
We'll do that at the last part of the show. So hang on to that. We got some more presidential talking to do. We'll do that next here at the Scotty Ray Report.
Here at Meridian Cycles, customer service is our #1 priority. And when you buy any Polaris, Can-Am, Honda, CF Moto, or Suzuki ATV or side-by-side, we're going to give you your first oil change absolutely free, because we service everything we sell here at Meridian Cycles. Come see us at 80 Highway 19 North, or call us 601-485-8700. Come see us.
Advanced Auto Glass by Joey can handle all your windshield repair and replacement needs. Service work is guaranteed and covered by warranty. Our technicians are professional, auto glass trained, and have over 100 years of combined experience. Advanced Auto Glass by Joey utilizes in-house calibrations for vehicle safety systems. Most insurances are accepted, and reliable mobile service is available in surrounding areas. Keep cars cool and secure with custom tinting, side mirror replacement, and AquaPal windshield wipers. There's one clear choice in auto glass repair. Advanced Auto Glass by Joey.
Battery power made by steel. Right now, save $50 on select AK System battery tool sets. Real steel. Find yours.
Welcome back, your friend Scotty Ray, along with Odie, as we keep watching our comments of the different comments from around the nation of everybody as it starts to pour in.
North Park Church on 39, they busy but moving quickly, and this goes back to the way our votes are done on the paper ballot. And somebody asked an email, and that email is going to be scottyray1969@aol.com.
Yeah, shoot that in.
So yeah, get those in, and man, it looks like a lot of people are getting out and getting the vote in.
Those are our Republican precincts that are, talking about there being lines, so that's good.
Nationwide, do we see a larger turnout this time, or are people burnt out on this election that's been really going on for 8 years? What is the perception across America?
Well, I don't know about across America, but I can tell you that you can't compare now to 4 years ago with early voting and absentee voting because COVID. You had the great excuse of COVID. You had massive voter registrations, illegally done, by the way, where people would everybody's registered to vote if you have a driver's license, and everybody gets mailed a ballot. Now, I can tell you for specific numbers in Lauderdale County.
But let me ask that on those notes there. Is it a little different this time? Is more safeguards put up this time with the voting since the COVID is not? And we were in an era in America of unknown.
We didn't know.
There was so many things that we were afraid if you touched anyone, you'd pass away. You'd get some type of disease. So we've kind of got all of that lined up, and things are
back to normal.
Okay, all right. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, back to normal. So in Lauderdale County, our numbers are down 33% from 4 years ago. We were close to 5,000 absentees. We're right around 30. We're just north of 3,300 this go round. I've been to several circuit clerk offices across the state. Of course, I don't know those numbers as of yesterday, but talking to them, their numbers are down compared to 4 years ago when everybody wanted to come out to vote. In the circuit clerk's office, ironically, that was not the safest place to go. Everybody funnel into one place as opposed to spreading out and going to your different precincts.
Well, we talk about on this show a lot percentages, and we saw right now we'll say there's a lot of people that are complaining about the mayor, but yet 27% voted, and that was it. We've typically seen somewhere around 60-something% vote in a major election like this. What do you see as a percentage of voters that are going to take place in this vote and go out and make their voice heard?
So you got to realize that, of registered voters, you're only looking at half the people are registered. So take that into account first. And then after that, your presidential election in Mississippi is going to be your largest turnout. Lauderdale County, typically at 60-some-odd%, will come out maybe up to 70%. But, yeah, for those municipal elections, I mean, it's horrible turnout. I mean, just about anybody that could somehow whip the vote to get out to go vote could win a municipal election out there. And these races were close, especially for city council. So, anybody has a shot. It's just how do you motivate your voters to get out? And this is the one election cycle where everybody goes vote. So
well,
we should
I hear
see
Nick Lacey's holding classes on how to teach people to get elected and win by 75%.
It's called knocking on doors. Landslide Lacey's what he likes to call himself now.
Oh, we're going to have to get him a shirt that has that.
Yeah, well, you got a tattoo. That's street talk. That's just street talk. Never mind.
I want to ask this to Erica. Erica, who is watching this morning from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Have you voted yet, or did you wait to today to go vote, Erica? curious of that.
And what are the lines? If you are voting, what are the lines up that way?
And again, in Mississippi and Alabama, we're not used to what someone in that area would be used to as you go to a polling station. There's probably blocks of lines of people trying to get voted.
Yeah, we've got it pretty good here. I mean, there are people used to being in their car for hours to vote, and this is way pre-COVID. So we've got it good in Mississippi. So
Erica, let us know what you've done. I'm just curious of how
not
that
who
is.
you voted for.
Yeah, just
she did a mail-in ballot.
Okay. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the way that goes. What else have we got with this? Any other people that we saw celebrity-wise? And, of course, a lot of these, your Taylor Swift was no shock to me. Was there any shockers, one way or the other, where we had a celebrity, somebody well-known that endorsed someone that was a true shocker?
Well, I'll say just part of that whole Joe Rogan gang, I'll say, there were some people that, are out there that are comics that came out for Trump that I was shocked to see. There was a lot of backlash over one of the roast comedians saying something about Harris supporters.
Right.
And Jon Stewart, who is the godfather of the Democrat comics, came out and said, look, you can't be upset with this comic for doing a roast joke. That'd be about like asking Beyonce to come out and she not sing. And you realize Beyonce didn't come out and sing for Harris.
Mr. What's his name, who got on national television and cried, does the nighttime show.
Jimmy Kimmel.
No, the other
He
one
cried
there.
one time, though.
This was this week, and I can see where his horn-rimmed glasses, and I knew it right before I said it, what his name was, and it just went away from me. But he cried on national television, and they were trying to make a big deal out of it, him crying. At the end of the day, do celebrities truly influence how people vote, or is this just a myth?
Let's hope not. I mean, maybe Taylor Swift a little bit.
But you go back to Taylor Swift,
I really
5 years ago, she got behind someone in Tennessee, a Democrat, and pushed him against Blackburn, and that candidate didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that because look at what she did with Kansas City. As soon as she showed up in the press box and was with Kelsey, they sold out of everything they had to sell.
Yeah, they did.
So there is a little bit Steve Colbert. Is that who you was thinking about?
Steve Colbert.
Colbert.
The Colbert Report.
No,
Are you talking about that one with that wild hair?
Jimmy Kimmel did cry 4 years ago. Just he went a little crazy.
This guy's
either.
not an American citizen, I don't believe. He's
Kind of heavy set fella.
No, he's a real skinny fella there. I can see him, and it's
gonna have to
I'm
Google.
just completely out of the. All right, so somebody, what about illegal votings? Do you see that a problem across the United States?
Well, that's actually something that we cracked down on these last few years with elections. We gave Michael Watson, Secretary of State's office, the authority to use databases across the nation to try to track down these folks. And so that's not something that we really have here. And whenever we do find it, it's not enough to sway an election. So we're lucky here with that. Other states, I hear the horror stories.
ID, can't ask.
I mean, this is what I said last week. You have day of voting, John Oliver. There you go, John Oliver.
And thank you, Eric. I couldn't think of it, but John. I mean, this guy went berserk. I mean, he was actually crying on national television. I couldn't think of John's
that
name
was
for
everybody
nothing.
that worked at all of these TV stations when they said that Trump was losing. Then they come back.
That was in 16.
But he won. Yeah. All right, baby. My granddaughter Violet's watching. So you keep up with what's going on. So when you get it old enough, you can vote. Come talk to Paw. He'll teach you all about it. And Braylon, I'm sure Braylon's in the back seat.
Let's talk about Pennsylvania just a second. As Erica's watching from there, did the assassination attempt, you think, have an influence on voters in that state, or was that just another day of politics there? Do you think at the end that motivated people to vote one way or the other?
I think that was the best thing that ever could have happened for Trump. In the best state that possibly. Absolutely. I mean, the motivation, his response to it, the crowd's response to it. I mean, that was a godsend for that to happen, for him, for it to hit him, miss him, and his response to it, the crowd's response to it, where it was. I mean, that is a perfect story. That was a bad day for the Biden camp.
What happened, and I don't know the numbers on this, and I'm going to ask you because I did not keep up with it. He returned to the same site to give another rally. Mm-hmm. What was the response, and was the attendance for it larger than the first one?
I'm sure it was larger, but you know what he did is he made it about the one man who actually passed away from that shooting, who I believe was a volunteer firefighter, or he was a firefighter of some way. Yeah. And man, they did a heck of a ceremony, made it about him. And really, I'll say this: Trump has really gotten religious since then. There's been a lot of Catholic and other things that he's really put into his campaign. All Saints Day, the day after Halloween, he put a big post on there that had Jesus and all the saints around, and Mary on there. And so, maybe he has decided to think about things beyond this life after that happened.
Now, on that same subject, as we all saw that, I'm going to call it an iconic photo that was taken of Trump with his hand in the air.
Oh, man, yeah.
As we look at the Secret Service, and maybe you've been around this since you were in the Senate, and you've been around these things. Do you see that? Did the Secret Service, they're supposed to keep whoever it is who's been shot at down on the ground. That is their job, is to cover them. He obviously, when he come up, was having no part of that.
No.
Was that a fault of the Secret Service, or was it just Trump going,
Trump's
get away?
Probably, but Trump's Trump, and
Trump's a big man there.
Thank God it went the way it did. Again,
because
all
had there
of that.
been someone else that might not have worked out, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and he said that
True.
he had pure clarity at that point in time. He knew exactly what had happened. He said that I knew I was shot in the ear. I knew that I was bleeding. I knew that I was okay. I knew that I wasn't hit anywhere else. I felt safe. I knew that the Secret Service was going to eliminate the target, that everything would be okay. And so, like you said, he had a moment of clarity in the way that Trump is Trump. He knows how to put on a show, and he's been able to do that, all his adult life. And so,
he draws the crowd. Everywhere he goes.
He had more faith in the lady that ran Pepsi than I did. That's what we would find out days later. Oh, slope roof. Oh, we couldn't climb that. That's the Secret Service.
Yeah, I know.
Folks. And this really, this boils down to, I don't care who is elected, how it's done. Make sure that people that you put in positions are qualified to do their job, that know what a slope roof is. And I say that jokingly, but I truly mean that. Of whoever is in office, it doesn't need to be that was a buddy favor. It had to be. This lady getting that promotion that obviously didn't know enough about training, didn't have the right people in place, didn't know how to fly drones, as we found out. Nothing. But although before that, the guy had flown a drone up to check it all out.
All the way around the thing. And with a leader, you want to make sure you've got somebody that will do what he asked those up under him to do, and have the skill set for most of that. And she had no idea what she was doing. To run the FBI, it needs somebody who obviously needs to know what the FBI does and how they operate.
Well, the odd thing about it, she used to be an FBI agent and in the Secret Service, and then she left and came back and then got promoted. But didn't sink in. Okay.
She had about 48 hours and then she was gone.
Yeah.
That was pretty fast.
Yeah, but it should have been done immediately. The commander in chief, when that went down, should have said, because you know what? She's also in charge of him.
Yeah.
That is what was so. She's doing a fine job. I remember going like that and going, like City of Meridian. Oh. We'll be right back. More on the way.
Collinsville, Mr. Discount Drugs, your local pharmacy and gift shop, thanks you for your continued support. Whether you shop with us in-store, through our app, over the phone, or in our drive-thru, our team will provide the best personalized customer service experience you expect from your local pharmacy. When you call or message us, you are promptly greeted by the Mr. Discount team that's ready to help. When you choose our pharmacy, you're choosing a locally owned pharmacy that cares about you and your community. Collinsville, Mr. Discount Drugs, makes a difference.
H&H Residential of Meridian is your #1 carpet and flooring store. If you've been thinking of a new look for your home or office, call for a free estimate or consultation. H&H can install, or you can do it yourself. H&H has all of your design needs from color, style, and texture. If you can dream it, H&H can make it a reality. Come see the large selection of hardwood flooring, laminate, vinyl, and even carpet. H&H Residential of Meridian, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, 321 Hawkins Crossing Road. Call Rosemary anytime, 601-462-9541.
All right, y'all come on out and see us at J&J Used Cars, Highway 19 South in the Southeast community. We right up the hill from the red light. Wide variety, nice quality used cars. Got 4-door Z71s. Hey, Christmas gonna be here before you know it. Wife, daughter, they will get you off your feet and back in the street. Right here at J&J Used Cars on Highway 19 South, Meridian.
Welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. As we move into Election Day, today is November the 5th. Perfect weather, 69 as you're waking up, a high of 84 today. Perfect weather for voting. No matter where you are, head out and do that. One thing that I brought up the Iowa polls a moment ago to where it took that dip. And when that dip happened, Jeff, the Vegas odds went down for about 24 hours. And then they've rebounded to where they're in favor of Trump now, the Vegas odds. I don't know what the spread is.
Follow the money.
Yeah, it's all about the money. I read something last night to where it was hinting that the stock market is another way to watch if it's up or down, saying that if it's up, that it's following Trump. If it's down, it's going to go with Harris.
Stock market usually wants there to be a mix between the Senate, the House, and the White House. They don't like change. You know, whenever everything's in unison, then it's, of course, Trump tax cuts go to expire at the end of 2025. So
yeah,
we need that to. Inaction means they go away. So
right.
Ooh, I gotta act right. Somebody just said hey to my preacher, so he must be on. So I gotta.
We'll watch that.
I gotta act right now.
Let's go back and take a little bit at history now. A little break from all of our election news and take a look at a few things that's happening back in history. 1900, she was born. She done some other roles, but no one will ever remember her for that. And she was a beautiful young lady, but you would know her as Mrs. Thurston Howell III. Lovey was
with her
born
little
today.
umbrella.
Natalie Schaefer was born on this day. And, of course, she was one of the castaways that made it there 3 years before being rescued. Lovey. And who carries around that much money in a suitcase? Only Thurston Howell.
Didn't know where to spend it.
That was funny. As we go back to this is the king of the cowboys. There was only one. He was what every kid wanted to be. All kids looked up to him. They dressed like him. They had his lunchbox. His name was Leonard. And it would change, and he would be known as Roy forever as King of the Cowboys. Roy Rogers, born on this date. Of course, Dale Evans there in the background on that lunchbox. You just can't miss it. Roy stood for everything that was right in America.
I tell you what, a surprise you.
Clint Black, how he looks
How
like
much that lunchbox is worth?
Are they worth a chunk now?
Oh yes. Yeah, all those mailboxes. You know, when we were kids. If we'd have kept them suckers, we wouldn't have to work.
My Fonzie one got damaged. That's all I remember.
Had to match in 30.
1913, she was told, frankly, my dear, well, you know how that ends. And after all, tomorrow is another day. She had other roles in life, but the one that everybody would remember her for would be as Scarlett. Her name was Vivian. She died young. As we go back to remember Vivian Lee, born on this date in 1913. And that's, of course, the famous dress that they would rip off. No, that was a green one that Carol Burnett made fun of.
With the curtain rod.
Ooh, I don't care if he was the last chicken in Atlanta. 1931, he would be born, and he would make his ex-wife famous. Who remembers a guy named Ike Turner? He was born on today. Forget that writing on the right. I meant to take that off. Ike Turner, born on this day. He had nothing to do with King Tut. Nothing. I just want to be clear about that. Whoops. Things happen up in here. This next guy, I've often listened to him and thought, I don't know what you're singing about, and I don't really get you, but there was a group of Americans during the Puff the Magic Dragon days that really got into them. Like a Bridge Over Troubled Water, I think may have been their famous song. Was it Art and Garfunkel? Yep. He's born today, Art Garfunkel. He had his hairstyle chosen right after Bob the painter.
I think he was kind of like what was old King with the boxing. He said he woke up one day, Don King, and the Lord told him to leave his hair alone, and that's why he wore it like that. And I think that's kind of, he woke up and went, wow, well, I guess I'll just leave it.
Now, I know you've heard things like It Cuts Like a Knife, but the song that you would most likely hear was the summer of '69, Me and Some High School Friends.
Ooh.
As we go back for Bryan Adams, born on this date, 1959. He had some other hits there, and he doesn't think the same way I do. He's different. But Summer of '69 was a great song, and I commend anybody who could do one that good. It was a good song. Wasn't country, but that's okay. One of the greatest in country music would lose his life today. He was only 35 years old. He had a premonition that it would happen weeks before it did. He felt that a drunk would kill him. And boy, was he right in the end.
Oh, gosh.
As he headed back home, he didn't make it. 1960, Johnny Horton was killed in an auto accident. I stopped at that memorial. I was driving through Texas one night, and I saw the sign, and I stopped and pulled in there and got out and looked at it. It was interesting there. But one of the greatest there, north to Alaska.
Johnny Horton. Oh, that's a big one. I know you sang it, didn't you?
I hummed it in my truck. Uptown girl, she's been living in her high class something. 1983, it was number one from Billy Joel. That's the Piano Man, if you didn't know that.
Oh, I like that song.
And I know he's had other songs, but those are the two that jump out at me. Was Play Me a Song on the Piano Man and Uptown Girl. Can you name any others?
Not right up. Now Amy could. She have a whole list. But I told you I'm not good with the names of songs or their artists.
This next guy, he died young. His name was Ward. His character would end up on Sesame Street, Bert and Ernie. Y'all remember that? It would be taken from It's a Wonderful Life. Y'all remember? He was the cop. Ward Bond. He passed away today at 57. He was the cop that was in It's a Wonderful Life.
I remember him being the wagon master on Wagon Train.
Did he do that also?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. 1963, I know the name. I don't know a whole lot about him. I know she's got a famous brother, I think, if I remember right. She was in Bad News Bears. Anybody remember Tatum O'Neal?
Bad News Bears. That's
Walter
one of the
Matthau.
best baseball movies there was.
Taught every kid bad language and gave them something to drink.
And how to drink in the dugout.
Here he come. Here come Amos was the line that I heard. 1969, Jerry Reed would have a big one with this one here. Amos. I love that song.
You know, that was he was actually cast to be Bandit in Smokey and the Bandit.
Didn't work out,
and
did
I can't remember why they took him away from the lead, but gave it to Burt Reynolds.
All I remember is having your picture made with Bandit, and they had that X in the background in that hammock where it had been marked down to 75 cents.
75 cents.
Yeah, something just
Blackout.
happened.
Ruh-roh, Raggy. We're still on. Don't worry about it.
See, you're hooked up to the internet. This is what can happen.
Yeah, we started talking about somebody, and they've come down from space to get us.
This is as good as you can do.
Well, we got you for the time being there.
Okay.
I'm going to try something here.
There we go. You're back.
Let me get back over here.
Things happen. If it's live, it's live, and you got to keep rolling.
And it's from memory.
It would be 1977, and this would
man.
come out. I ain't going to marry in the spring. I ain't going to marry in the fall because I'm just a country boy. Money have I none. As we remember, Don Williams had a number one today with I'm Just a Country Boy. I love that. And if Hollywood don't need you, honey, I still do. Woo! He hung out with Burt Reynolds a lot. Let's see what else we got going on today. T. Graham Brown. Anybody remember him? He played at the Jimmy Rogers Festival over and over. He would have a number one today. It would be called Darlene. T. Graham Brown.
Is that the one that's Darling?
That's it.
Darling.
He had other hits, but I'm telling you,
song.
it just that was it. As we go back to this girl, her daddy was famous. And you probably have to imagine that she was picked on as a kid. You know how kids are about her dad because he couldn't talk very well. Yeah, he had a speech impediment, a big one. But boy, when she came out, she done wonders. Anybody remember Pam Tillis? Don't Tell Me What to Do? It went number one, 1990.
I remember Mel being at the Temple Theater.
I never got to see Mel Tillis.
Oh,
I missed it.
Yeah.
I got the horse and she's got the saddle. And, of course, one of my favorites, two or three of his, Coca-Cola Cowboy, you remember that? And then You Can Tell My Name, I'm a Rambling Man. So I'll think of the name of it in a minute there. Fred, there's a misspelled word coming up. We want to warn everybody. He went from Fred to being Fed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We're asking our backup crew to fix that next time. Fred McMurray passes away today.
My three sons.
1991. And he was kind of like a father figure to a lot of people on television. Let's see here. The Righteous Brothers. Anybody remember them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he passed away today also. Bobby Hatfield. He was one half of that group. And you'll remember that from Top Gun, making them famous there. We'll be right back as we get more into election coverage. We've got Jeff standing by. He's got some more statistics to give us of what's coming up today, November
He's had
the 5th.
that pen going over.
He is. I hope he's ready to tell it.
When it comes to enhancing your outdoor experience, you need a companion that can keep up. The Kubota RTV 850 Sidekick at Parrish is your ultimate utility vehicle for every adventure. From the deer camp, trail riding, or just working on the farm, the Sidekick delivers powerful performance and versatility. These units start at $15,499 cash and have a $2,000 rebate. Financing is available as low as $285 a month.
The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group. Welcome back. I want to quickly bring in some local headlines as we look at what went on yesterday. There has been an arrest. If y'all remember, we were live at the scene at Meridian Public Schools. Was it last week?
I remember something about it.
I reported that gunfire had happened at the campus. We would later get an email from the school that said it was near. Well, it turns out we were right. It was at the school. An arrest has been made. As we look at this, $2 million has been placed on this. I want to say Judge Nick Lisi signed this. Did he not?
Yep.
$2 million. That's pretty strong there to bond out of jail. And again, this was a gun on campus fired. The judge has clicked that. That's good. I like people that do that. We had a robbery last night. A man would be robbed of his own gun. He was sitting at the corner or near 1900 block of 8th Avenue when he was approached by a group of, it may have been 7 or 8 people that had a firearm that took his firearm. They would leave. They have not been caught to my knowledge at this point. We also had an assault. Now, I don't have all the details on this. I've heard several different stories, so I won't go into what I don't know. I think the person was hurt as we had an assault last night in the 1500 block of 25th Avenue. I do know a Metro ambulance arrived on scene and they were rushed to a hospital for the assault. Now, assaults are dangerous. They hurt people. I want you to understand that. That's not just a term that's out there. Someone was hurt when we use that, when an assault happens. We also, as I went down in the dark last night, we had to break out our neon flashlight.
Ooh, that ain't no neon. That's sun.
Here we go. This is the wreck that happened. This is at 5 Points, the old Acme Plaza. Front Street, 14th Street is where this would happen.
Pretty tough little sign they got.
I'm going to say the pole never moved.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yes, it is.
It never budged.
Wow.
So that was going on last night. That happened 7 o'clock-ish, I think, is when I was down there. Now, we need to bring this up also because this is going to be a major change for you if you live in Neshoba County. We want to put this out. The Sheriff's Department letting us know from DOT, crews will swap traffic from 2 lanes to the new 4-lane configuration on Highway 19 in Neshoba County beginning tomorrow.
Look at that at Odie Smith Road.
There you are. Do you know Odie?
No, I don't.
You might want to get to know him there.
Yeah, we need to meet.
But that's kind of important there. And another thing that went on yesterday, I was trying to partake. I don't know what that was about.
Ruh-roh, we done win again.
Jeff, let's see if you're over there.
Oh,
yeah, we'll stare at Jeff.
As good as we can get. It's bad. All right.
As we look at this, let me pull this up and show you this. This is what happened on I-20. This would be right near the old bread factory, right there at
29th Avenue
29th
exit.
Avenue is where that happened there. And for whatever, it came out originally that the truck had flipped is what people were saying. It just kind of rode the rail there and jumped up on that concrete barrier. Why? We don't know.
Yeah, and don't know if the wall caused the tire to blow or if the tire blew out and caused that to
it's flat now.
turn into the wall. But luckily, it didn't flip over, and that is that's a blessing in itself, right there.
And my flashlight is rechargeable. They were asking about that. Al's got them at Al's.
Garden and Gifts.
Go by and see him. He can show you that. Nebo is what it is. It is one of the greatest flashlights that have ever. I went to too many scenes in the darkness and couldn't see what was happening. And then I thought, why not just bring a runway?
I bet you won't put that sucker in your pocket after you've had it on for about 5 minutes.
No, sir.
You know, are there more accidents, or is Scotty Ray reporting more accidents? And now, because of the flashlight, is there more accidents because of the flashlight than before the flashlight, blinding people?
There's more accidents because you can see
questions
them now.
people need to know. You know,
It's kind of like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Yeah.
We may never know. As we get into Election Day, let's talk about the races that, you know, with being president, there's other things that matter also. Who controls the House? Who controls the Senate? Have we got any shakeups that you see?
well, Joe Manchin, who I think he switched to an independent.
West Virginia?
Right, West Virginia. That is more than likely going to go Republican. You know, that was the most conservative non-Republican up there, probably more conservative than a few of the Republicans in the Senate.
Yeah.
And then also John Tester in Montana. That's going to be one that looked to be a lock that now, I don't know if they're manipulating the polls, but they're saying that it's getting tighter and tighter. But if they can get those 2 seats, that'll flip the Senate. It looks like in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, there are also some tight races that will go our direction.
Now, at this point, the Senate is controlled by Democrats, correct? The House is controlled by Republicans.
Slim margins on both sides. So, and whenever you flip a seat, that is a 2-vote switch.
Correct.
So you have to look at it that way.
Are we seeing more possibility of changes in the Senate than in the House? Is it?
Well, I think what we know is that with West Virginia, we're going to get that one. And then whoever is vice president is president of the Senate, which means you have the tie-breaking vote. So if we can tie in the Senate and we can have J.D. Vance as our president of the Senate, we have the Senate. In the House, due to redistricting, so we had legislative redistricting and we had congressional redistricting since our last election, there have been changes that potentially could help us as far as Republicans are concerned. New York, North Carolina, Alabama, and California. You had some of those states had to consolidate some districts. Some had brand new districts that were formed. And so those are going to be the states to watch for as far as our House and our Senate. So West Virginia, Montana, for sure in the Senate. Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. And then the House, look at New York, North Carolina, Alabama, and California.
Very, very, very interesting. We're getting reports, and we'll have this in just a second. We have had a wreck, Roebuck Drive. And we're getting that put up now so we can show you that.
145 South.
Yeah, 145 there near Waffle House. Roebuck Drive, 22nd Avenue, however you want to word
It's got 5
that.
different names, right?
Yeah, and it does, kind of like Highway 19. As soon as I get this up, we'll show you this from the page of what's happening there.
And just by the way, I got a report in that my own uncle was thrown out of a precinct for wearing a Trump shirt. Look, you can't wear any campaign paraphernalia. All right, so what the law says is that you can't have any campaign literature. So a shirt, a hat, pamphlet, a yard sign, anything.
A pen. You can't even have a pen.
Pen within 150 feet of any operable entrance of a precinct. And hey, that goes for any name on the ballot. So Trump, Harris, Branning. We're not going to mention anybody else. You can't do that. So don't do that. So hopefully my dad will take his Trump hat off and we won't have any disturbances at Clarkdale. It's rare that he does that.
I can see the headlines now. State Senator's dad drugged from a polling station. As we go to the accident that just happened, this is going to be near the Circle K, Highway 145, like you're going to Quitman out of town. It does involve what it looks to be here. Let's hit play and show you this. That's going to be a chip truck.
That's a dangerous spot. So that's my stomping ground right there, and it's tough to see, traffic coming over that hill, and they can be getting it going over that hill.
So use a little caution while you're there. That could be dangerous for anybody just arriving there on scene. Now, have we had any major changes since we began this. Have you gotten any new feed coming in from anyone about the polls after they've opened today? Anything that is twisted? Any exit polls?
Something about this metal building, I can't get anything in or out. So no, sir, I haven't had anything since I stepped in. And it's,
you just keep
it's
on.
time.
We're going to give you a password before long.
I'm ready for that Wi-Fi password.
I'll
be dangerous then.
We've already been called out, and it's only day 2. You realize that we're already being told that we have not changed the time of the clock.
Ooh.
Oh, I see it now.
We'll work on that. Last time it took us about
What can we trust
month.
around here?
Yeah.
Fake news, fake time.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think all these people that worked here, somebody would have already done that.
All right, here's what we got. The first actual counted votes, and it's always that little town that comes in. Let me see the name of it.
It's kind of early for that, but okay.
Dixville Notch is what the name of the town is. They're the first people to cast their elections. There's 6 people in that town.
Okay.
You want to take a guess what it is now?
What?
3-3.
Okay.
So do they draw a name out of the hat to see which one wins it?
So it's a tie to tie in that little. In the past, they've said that this little town could set the presidents for the day.
They just did then.
Yeah.
3-3. And of course, I think they open up at midnight. Here's the picture from there as their town board there, and I guess
that's all 6 of them.
I think everybody showed up for the picture.
Chris Gaines is mayor of that town, I believe.
So he moved on up there. Yeah. We'll be right back. More to come as we take you through Election Day.
At the Back Porch, we're bringing families back together for fun, food, and all the things you love to enjoy around your home. Everything starts with a great grill, cookware, and accessories. Add in locally sourced meat and dairy, frozen vegetables and casseroles, and over 500 brands of spices and sauces. Relax in our chairs, swings, and daybeds and have fun with our cornhole boards. From animal print coolers to authentic Louis Vuitton purses, we have what you need. When you see the big chair, you've made it to the Back Porch.
At Pettit Jewelers in Philadelphia, Mississippi, trust Nicole with your priceless heirloom jewelry. With generations of refined expertise, she ensures your cherished pieces are meticulously cared for. Pettit Jewelers, Philadelphia.
Downtown Meridian is thriving with a fresh look, and now it's getting a new neighbor. Toyota of Meridian is now open under new hometown leadership. We're bringing automotive knowledge and experience home with a focus on improved customer satisfaction and all new pricing. Toyota of Meridian is excited to serve the Queen City and exceed your expectations.
I'm Trinard Rush, and I want to invite you to Toyota Meridian, where hometown pride drives excellence.
Our local headlines are brought to you by the Rock House Gun and Pawn.
Welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, along with Odie. Jeff Tate is our special guest this morning as we head into Election Day. Do you dare make a prediction, or do you want to sit back and see where it goes, Jeff? What, or do you even want to touch that?
I mean, I hate to jinx anything, but I honestly believe that Trump will have a few states that he can spare at the end of this thing. I mean, I really do. I think that, Kamala was a horrible choice. They had no primary. I think the media suspects a defeat, and that's why you see a few tough questions to Harris. Never a follow-up when she doesn't answer, but they want to be able to have those sound bites of the excuse. Never a reason, always an excuse of why they lost the election. And they're going to say, well, we didn't have a primary, and this is what happens. We have a poor candidate. And so I really think, I just think with everything swayed the way that it is, that Trump will be able to take this election.
Now, let me throw this is not a hard question, but I want people to understand this. This country was set up with electoral votes, and then we have popular vote. For the folks that don't quite understand why we have these, can you kind of sum it up kind of quickly as to why that is that we have electoral votes compared to the popular vote being the thing that chooses president?
Our founding fathers knew the importance of the states and states' rights and states deciding things, and knowing that we don't need to just have, we do not have a democracy. This is a republic, and and that's why you have a Senate that is there every 6 years for election, and a House that's there every 2 years, where you have that balance of, emotion swinging. But then also we know that we need for the states, for the United States, to be able to have a true leader that represents us all. And so Maine and Nebraska did something a little different. Nebraska in 72, I believe, and Maine in 92 decided to change it up to where their 2 Senate electoral college votes would go towards, the overall, but then their congressional districts would go. And, I would be okay with Mississippi doing that if all 50 states did that, but they're not going to do that.
No, we have 6, correct?
We have 6. So we have 4 congressional districts and then 2 Senate seats. And that's how, that's and actually, this is a story in of itself that we don't need to get into. But, the census has now admitted that they did not count correctly. Mississippi was one of them that they did not give us enough. Right, they didn't count enough. Now, it wasn't enough to change how many seats we'd have, but in other states it was. Some states, and this hurt Republicans. Blue states should have less seats, and red Republican states should have more seats. And so they're admitting this, and it's just another thing where they want to say that Trump had a rigged election in 2016 to win. In 2020, everything went the other way, and everything they accused Trump of, and this is part of, we get back to the first part of the show, why Joe Rogan came out for Trump. Everything that they say about Trump, about how he's going to send us all to war, how he's going to imprison his political enemies, the Democrat Party is doing everything they're accusing Trump of going to do, and he didn't.
We didn't have wars.
We had
while
no
he was
wars.
president.
People
Another
respected
question,
us.
because I've been sitting back and watching this. Your opinion on this as well. We see Washington nearly on lockdown, fences going up. Do we, I've heard this, in conversation, standing at stores buying a Coke. And the term being used, whoever wins, there's going to be opposition from the other side regardless. Do you expect trouble out of this, or will this be calm and that's just being precautionary in some of our large cities, no matter who wins? Do you see something happening, or will it just...
I don't see anything big happening. I think it's more precautionary. I did hear about windows and doors being boarded up around Washington, D.C., and that's where they are. You know what I mean? I don't see there being anything big.
And this would be in these heavily populated cities is what we would see.
Mm-hmm. These Democrat cities where they've had these riots and other things happen. But no, I don't see anything bad really happening. And again, I see Trump taking this by, with a state or two to spare. I really do.
All right, we'll track him down later tonight.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you remember saying this? We got some birthdays, Odie?
We got some birthdays. We've got Carrie Brantley Allen's having a birthday. Tim Lockley, Jeremiah Lovett, Betty Whitten, 62 today. Ricky and Betty Whitten celebrating 42 years together today. Maddie Dewitt, Destin Tinsley, Courtney Nicole Yates, Janet Riddle, John Chirapena is having a birthday today, and Aaron and Jessica Cooley is having a birthday today. So happy birthday to each one of y'all.
Any closing thoughts, Jeff, as we head out? There's a lot of folks that are at work now that have to vote on their way home. It was just too early for them to vote on the way in. Any advice, any last-minute thinking on the election as we head into this?
Well, just think about, like you would anything else, around lunchtime you'll have another line. Right after 5 o'clock you'll have a line. We usually don't have lines at 7 o'clock in the evening, but, be sure to be there before 7. At 7:01, it's over. Now, if you're in line at 7, like we said, it could go a ways before, till you vote, just depending on where that line is. But I will say this. In Mississippi, if you look at the ballot in Lauderdale County and most surrounding counties, Trump's going to take Mississippi.
Correct.
In the Senate, Roger Wicker has a strong hold on winning that election. Michael Guest is unopposed, and everybody else is unopposed on the ballot except for one race. It's the one person that's been on this show multiple times, the only candidate that's asked to come on this show multiple times for the Supreme Court, the only candidate that I know has been to Meridian multiple times, including yesterday to campaign, and that is Jennifer Branning, the true conservative candidate. I encourage everybody that when you go vote, remember for the Supreme Court. I understand you want to vote for Trump. Good, great, I am too. But after that, we have got to remember on the bottom right hand of the front page of that ballot is going to be Supreme Court. There's 5 choices. Jennifer Branning is the conservative. I ask you to vote for her. There's her page there. There you interviewed her. She's the right choice. She has represented us well. Not just in Neshoba County, but the state of Mississippi. She has a heck of a voting record. If we have a runoff, it will be 3 weeks. That'll be the week of Thanksgiving. We've got to remember that. And so just my full endorsement. Vote for Jennifer Branning. Tell a friend. I mean, I was at the tennis courts again last night asking people.
You play tennis?
No, for my daughters.
Oh,
Heck,
okay.
He just went. It's like Greg.
I was trying to get a visual of this of a Matlock show.
It's like Greg saying he went by the gym today.
Oh,
He
yeah,
didn't
no.
stop. He just went by.
Hey, I played football, broke my leg my senior year, and that was about it for athletics for me. But
I get that.
But anyway, no, people just don't know, and so I hope that I know your listeners, your viewers do. But tell your friends when they go vote for president. Also remember Supreme Court Jennifer Branning.
I want to remind everybody that we do have a street closed in Meridian, 8th Street at 23rd Avenue, right there by Mum. It's still shut down. They've been doing continuous work there the last few days, so keep that in mind in your travels. That's going to be shut down there. Odie, we need a good word to head out and face the day.
Today, we're going to go to Joshua 24 at verse 15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And everything we do, we put the Lord in front of it. And today especially, pray, invite God into your heart, and ask him to lead you as you go through this voting process. Get out and go vote, and please educate yourself on who is the one that's going to lead us back to a godly country, because we've got to put God back into our lives, our schools, our governments, and our everyday lives. Hope y'all have a wonderful day. I'm sure we'll see y'all at the polls. We'll be in and out doing some stuff tonight, doing some coming on and doing some updates. But other than that, until then, we will see you tomorrow on Hump Day.
Jeff, we can't thank you enough for coming in and being our political analyst for us.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. I hope I'm not ashamed of the predictions come tomorrow.
We'll see what happens. Thank y'all. God bless. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.